So here we are with the air conditioning on another week. Has gone by since we've talked, or so. And this week, later in the program, we're going to have Eric Perry join us, paranormal investigator, a dear friend of mine, out of New England. He's down up the Connecticut, Massachusetts, down New Jersey, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, all of the New England states. I don't know if New Jersey's a New England state. I always thought New Jersey was a New England state because Delaware and all of that stuff was part of New England at one time. Anyways, whatever it is, New England paranormal. And what I think is fascinating about this person is he's done a lot of stuff. He's also doing Facebook Live. He's innovating technology, the newest technology with his investigations. It's just a wonderful, wonderful service that they're doing. And he's pretty popular. And so we're going to have him later in the program. Also, we are on Spreaker, Spreaker, Spreaker.com. We have all of our programming up there. We have all of our shows being put up there. We're in the process of putting them all up there. We're not going to miss any of them, or if we do miss ones, it's going to have to be a good reason, because I'm not just going to put up with the head offices telling us that we can't do it, or we're going to see what we can do to legally have everything put up there for you. If you're listening or you're viewing us for the very first time, we welcome you to the program, and we welcome you to our network. So with that being said, we have our first break, and when we come back, we're going to do the news. And we're back, and so it is time for us to get into the news. And here we go. Let's look in this big stack of stuff we have for our news. And let's go to our first story. Let's see, I'm going to go to a little bit of the second to the middle of the stack here. And, of course, HuffingtonPost.com, HuffPost, supernatural and paranormal news, my favorite site for this stuff. So, onwards, on forth, here we go. Let's get into our stuff. Let's see how I'm trying to look at this and read this. See my stack of stuff. I'm getting off the topic a little bit while I'm reading this. Anyways, here we have it. The aerospace executive absolutely convinced there are aliens on Earth. There's been an existing ET presence. Reporter Lee Spiegel, I hope I'm saying his name right, reported. And then opening interview on 60 Minutes said an aerospace mongrel and entrepreneur Robert Bigelow said he was absolutely convinced there were alien visitors to Earth. Most of the said focused on how NASA and Las Vegas-based Bigelow's aerospace are in partnership to develop an expandable craft for humans to use in space. Bigelow's far-reaching vision puts him right in the middle of a new privatization of space race and includes billionaires Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Hope I'm saying their names right. I apologize if I'm not. In the following, Bigelow describes a typical expandable system, and then it goes in to show its video. I agree. Bigelow declined to describe the personal UFO encounters. He offered more elaborate details about UFOs, extraterrestrials, and private space industry during an interview on the national radio program Coast to Coast AM. Apparently, he's not going to elaborate on stuff, but they are convinced there's UFO presence, and they're convinced aliens are up there. And I apologize for getting off track with the reading of this news, but trying to follow it a little so I can explain it to you. And apparently, trying to build more spacecraft, more equipment to go up in space, more exploration. And we've seen this recently, within the last year. that more and more of extraterrestrial, UFO, and alien subjects of craft or places that humans can be in to go and explore outside the Earth. Now, we don't get a lot into UFOs on this program. I wish we could more. We will be getting into more stuff. I have in the past gotten into it, and I do study it myself as a investigator, paranormal research investigator. It's just fascinating. And here we have some follow-up stuff. Russian outlet claims NASA took an amazing, totally true image of 3 UFOs. British tabloids jump on reports of shape-shifting UFOs. Okay, UFOs in the clouds. Talks about this particular. I talked about UFOs masking themselves in clouds. I've discussed that more than once, and I've also discussed shadow people. Extraterrestrial beings, terrestrial beings, meaning there's other races here on Earth besides humans, intelligent races like us that could be using the environment to mask and hide. Bigfoot would be one of them. So that is a lot of stuff. And then I spoke about last week the Shivlin Navy releasing groundbreaking UFO videos, and there's some other stuff. It's all on Huffington Post, HuffPost.com. HuffingtonPost.com here on Weird News. It's amazing what it is. It's very fascinating, this world of science and UFOs and aliens and what's going on in the recent news. And we don't hear about this news on TV. We don't hear about it in the paper. We don't hear about it discussed openly. And what I mean by openly is that it's not openly debated, openly discussed, openly formulated. These things are produced randomly. They're produced as they come. You may not hear any of it. I may not hear any of it. We may never hear any of it. We may never be a part of it. We just may never have that. It's a shame, in fact. It's a shame that we have to go into that. And it's a shame that we have to have our ways of life like this, where we can't discuss openly this stuff. A lot of it isn't there. Let's see, we got some ghost news, spirits news. Let's see what we have in that stack. And this kind of news is coming from a few sites we got. Mirror.co.uk. Mirror.co.uk. Mirror, M-I-R-R-O-R, is a website I do. And there's some photos. Finally, proof of ghosts exist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photos to check out up there. A young boy with Down syndrome takes an incredible picture of guardian angel. Absolutely wonderful photo. Check that out up there. Haunting footage shows ghostly figure pushing unsuspected bystanders down the stairs. Several different incidents were recorded in a clip where people unexpectedly seem to misjudge. Oh, I'm rolling my words because these words are heavy here. Their step and end up tumbling to the ground. Several different incidents appear on this clip, and it shows the clip. Creepy footage appears to show a ghostly entity shoving unsuspected people down a flight of stairs. Many online users have claimed they were pushed by this ghostly footage. Footage has been posted online about it. It's quickly shared thousands of times, with people simply pointing out the stairs were placed too widely apart, causing people to lose their balance. But that's not true. Because people claimed that it looked. Some of the people were cropping or cropper and drinking. I don't understand what that word means, but it's here. But commentors insist that it looks as if the stairs were haunted and advised an exorcist to come. The best way to make the stairs safe, one person said. They do not want to rebuild these stairs. There's another post here. Driver freaks out after spotting ghostly image on the middle of the road. Motorist had the same scary experience as a figure cross-legged in the street in the dead of night. The car rounds a bend. We're going to play a little bit of the video here.
Okay, that's a bit scary. Yeah, that's a bit scary. That is very scary.
He rounds the bend of the corner and sees this figure standing in the middle of the road. It is a ghostly image of a kind of cross-legged figure. It seems to be floating across the road. And as you just heard, that was before they got scared. I played a little bit of the clip. I don't like playing clips like this but this video has it with it. You can see it up, mirror.co.uk, mirror.co.uk. Dad's stunning photo captures eerie moment. Giant eye formation in the clouds. A creepy picture of ghost girl wandering in the woods. Chilling ghost-like figure of woman loiters. A watermelon-sized stomach tumor was removed. Man finally has watermelon-sized stomach removed. It's not about a ghost, but it is something really odd news here. A huge tumor in the size of a giant watermelon had been removed from the man's stomach when left in for a year after being convinced the mass was caused by a ghost. Oh my. Shaimai Turk, 49, had doctors. He had suffered pains in his stomach for a year and threw up every time he ate. Villagers convinced him that he'd been possessed of a ghost, took him to a witch doctor before locking him in a room of local services say. The witch doctor, however, was not able to help the gentleman. Neighbors then prescribed the family to take him to the hospital. An x-ray examined revealed a massive retroperitoneal lipoma tumor. I hope I said that right. Wow, that's a large name. A rare malignant mass that was slowly crushing his vital organs. Dr. Partha Sharesi Ghosh, I hope I said his name right again, who headed the surgery, said it was a very rare tumor. In fact, it was the first time doctors had removed such a large tumor. It took us 2.5 hours to remove it. He is improving and back to a routine of life, and he'll be very soon having a full recovery. That is a watermelon-sized tumor. It shows some pictures of the tumor, which I think is kind of eerie, nasty. I don't like seeing bloody photos like that, but it is a fact that this guy thought it was a ghost and was taken to a witch doctor. Now, I believe in that country. Not sure where the country is. I'm trying to figure that out real quick here for you. But anyways, in that country where he lives, they believe in witch doctors. We will be discussing those kinds of things here on the program. India. He lives in West Bengal, India. And in that country, there is folklore, there's witch doctors, there's other things. So his tumor was believed to be some kind of evil spirit, ghost, or possession of his body. That's why he did not seek immediate attention. And I'm going to give you a warning with this story, folks. Story is mirror.co.uk, mirror.co.uk. I'm going to give a warning with this story, folks. I thought it was pretty interesting. I read up more about this kind of tumor, and it can grow. You can grow anywhere in parts of your body. And I'm going to warn you that if you go to holistic medicine, other practitioners other than medically certified people like a normal doctor, hospital doctor, please be advised that you're seeking the right medical attention. I really would like my listeners and my viewers to understand, and I'm speaking very seriously now, that you can go to your witch doctor, you can go to your holistic practitioners, you can go to your alternative medicine groups, but please make sure what's going on and your treatment is proper. I do not want something like this happening. This person got it right away. He got it before he could. He would have died from his medical problem, his tumor. And I don't want that happening to my viewers. I just don't. I feel that many instances things could come up. I'm not saying these kinds of medicine is bad. I'm not saying these kinds of medicine are imperfect. But I'm saying please have a warning. Please know what you're doing. Please know what you're getting into. And please know that some medical conditions, cancers, tumors, lesions, stuff like that, may not or may have to have conventional hospital surgery rooms, emergency room care above and beyond your other beliefs, your other witch doctors, your holistic medicine, your alternative practitioners. And please be advised that I advise you to do it. I do here on this program, even though I do believe in the other alternatives. But please know that conventional medical help is there for you, as long as or as long with, not replacing, but with your choice of other kinds of medical help. Okay, let's see what the next one is here. Here's one from the New York Times. You notice I jump around for my stories. I get them all over the internet. I get people sending me all kinds of stuff. Haunted houses are about more than just ghosts. Haunted houses are about more than just ghosts. It comes from the NewYorkTimes.com. NewYorkTimes.com. The reporter is Colin Dickey. Whether or not ghosts are real, it's beside the point. Rather, what compels this person, Colin Dickey, is appealing book and meaning of haunted places in contemporary American culture. How to answer questions. Colin Dickey, a writer, he is a writer of a good book here. Produced eerie studies of historical and analytical oddities. Turns his ever-curious eye to the widespread phenomenon of hauntings. Technology, psychology, human psychology, perceptive insights, architecture, and ghost hunts, not to mention haunting as social control. He shows haunted places reveal what troubled us before and what troubles us now. He concludes that ghost stories attached to particular places often contain social anxieties and unsettled issues from the past, which I'm going to say right here for a moment, they do. There's a lot about this that's true. Although these ghost stories recall different realities, like the wrongful execution of minorities in the case of Salem witch trials, the physical and emotional abuse of slavery, resistance to women, and attendance and tension between the rich and the poor, they failed to achieve a public reckoning with the historical injustice. Convenient metaphor for a whole host of problems, Dickey says, not connected to the supernatural, and talking about them becomes a mean of process or make sense of experiences that can otherwise seem underwhelming and mystifying. The most fascinating moments in his book, which is called Ghostland, are Dickey's etymological musings on terms like haunt, cemetery, ruined, porn, and ghost town. And this many turns up unusual pasts of American history. Ghostland is one of the sellers they mention here. While many of the ghost stories he recounts can be confined in academic treatments as well as literature local guides, with Ghostland, Dickey achieves a conspicuous geological synthesis that is both intellectually intriguing and politically instructive. Wonderful. Ghostland is a book by Colin Dickey. It also has another story here that's like that, talking about haunted houses and types of hauntings and all that. Put person talks about their Philadelphia ghost story. NewYorkTimes.com is where I'm getting these stories. There's a puzzle now. Talking about a puzzle. The title is spooky, but it's talking about a puzzle. They're both timely and brilliant. And brilliant because the first attempt at solving it pretty miserably. I blame the ghosts that are haunting today's puzzle by Muriel Beckman. And you will eventually see them and look carefully. But we aren't afraid of ghosts, are we? It's tough to explain and solve. Facebook Live, and let's consider a dry run. The revealer clue at 37A pretty much gives away the concept. 4 answers in this puzzle, and the answer, of course, is haunted. The answer is ghost written. Where to put the extra 5 letters? Nowhere. That's where ghosts are invisible. So just fill in the written and let ghosts float away. Mr. Beckman and the editors on the work went into this puzzle. More like, please. Even if I tank miserably at them the first time, it's worth a blow of dignity to enjoy the work if it's good. Now they're talking about ghost journals. It's called Ghost Journals. The Copper Queen Hotel. I'm not sure what a Copper Queen Hotel is. And there's an original Ghostbusters theme song with it. It's in their crosswords and games of wordplay. It's an interesting story. It goes into stuff. The title is spooky. Now, a lot of these books and a lot of these puzzles and a lot of these stories in the New York Times are things you can visit, are things that you can take part in, as this one is, as this one has been. By the way, folks, the Copper Queen Hotel, where this journal is Bisbee, Arizona. It's a vacation spot. 11 Howe Ave, Bisbee, Arizona. It's a 1902 Old West-style hotel and Victorian building. It's Bisbee Restoration Museum, and it's just a walk from the Mayhem House, or Mayhem House. Copper Queen Hotel has this. I don't know anything about hauntings at the Copper Queen Hotel. I'm going to have to do a little investigation in that. But that's from the New York Times. Let's see what else we have is the Sun. The Sun.co.uk. The Sun.co.uk. It's talking about creepy face spotted and hiding in lamppost. Bizarre sighting captured in the U.S. by Salem Mayor Kim Driscoll has left local residents well and truly spooked. Back in the 1600s, residents were terrified by witches and black magic. We all know the story of the teenage girls. Now it seems that the town has been gripped with another ghostly mystery after the mayor shared this creepy picture of the face hiding in the lamppost. Now I took the time to look at this face, and it is very creepy. It is very very, very unique. It is one of those truly remarkable photos where you do see the human face. I'm not sure whose face it is. Mayor Kim Driscoll tweeted a snap of the freakish vision, capturing the image and saying, quote, "Anybody else see the face in that light? Truly eerie, eh?" Unquote. According to Boston Globe, the lamppost is located outside the J. Malco Ruan Judicial Center. Mayor Driscoll's post was quickly retweeted, when many agreeing with her that the odd apparition looked like a face. Why would you untweet something or retweet something? I don't understand what that means. Maybe retweeted means they tweeted it again. Okay, anyways. One commented on the face that it looked too happy, comparing it to Harry Potter. Really? Harry Potter? This face does not look like that at all. I keep looking at this face, and let me get the paper here. I have the piece of paper here, and I have the other one here with the story and the face on it. Doesn't look like that at all. Anyways, another tweeted, I thought things like this only happened at Halloween in Salem, unquote. It didn't take long before the memes began floating in, with many parling up the face in the lamppost and suggested doppelgangers and others doctoring the image to look like famous figures. Folks, why would you do that? The face is intriguing. It looks to me like a male's face. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it is very intriguing to me. It comes from thesun.co.uk, thesun.co.uk. Terrifying sighting made Yvette Fielding, this is the most haunted star, burst into tears. Really. She said she burst into tears after seeing a ghostly figure that appears in an episode of Most Haunted. The shows captured the shape of the camera Wentworth House in Yorkshire as they reported seeing a male figure. It throws things down the stairs in Stable Block. Yvette believes that she already seen the mysterious figure earlier in the day. She added, I burst into tears when I saw it. This was the first full ghostly apparition we have got on film, unquote. The Rotherham House was built in 1630 by the first Earl of Stanford, and the stable block is now derelict. In the clip, Stuart Tarwell hears a footstep in the corridor as he turns to see what looks like a ghostly figure of a large man lurking in the archway. I cannot see the figure in the archway. Yes, I can. Well, it looks like somebody is walking away from the archway. They have it kind of circled here, and then here's another image of it far away. I can't directly see a face, but the body's there, absolutely. Anyways, you saw a large man lurking in the archway. Stewart and director Carl Beadle, Yvette's husband, chase it down the corridor, but it disappears. But when Yvette viewed the footage, she made a bizarre observation. She said, quote, when I looked at the figure, I thought it looked like Stewart, which brought up all sorts of questions about stone tape replay, unquote. Two of Yvette added that she was experiencing similar phenomenon at home. She says, quote, I can be alone in the house and I hear someone calling Mom. She also quoted, was the ghostly image we saw a stone tape replay of Stewart walking that way earlier. Yvette Fielding, unquote there. Before the filming, visitors stayed lately home reported doors slamming and footsteps in the corridor. Yvette's dog Weston seems to sense a presence at the top of the stairs in the clip, and Yvette reveals that there were things reportedly thrown down by the spirit. It shows a picture of the dog looking in the corridor. They revealed that Carl revealed, we've never seen anything like it before. We really don't have an explanation. Clearly shows the vision in detail. It is weird placed, unquote. Westward Woodhouse Stable Block is where they were at. This dog looks like to be a bulldog. In the picture, it looks like a bigger dog than it actually is here. But yes, you do see a figure in the thing. This is interesting. The sun.co.uk. The sun.co.uk is where we get that story. I will keep tabs on this creepy lamppost photo. And one last thing here. Chilling picture taken inside abandoned asylum sparks mystery after haunting figure of ghost girl spider lurking in the crowd. Philip Barron, 45, has taken tours of Newsham Park Hospital in Liverpool around 20 times, but he says he has never seen anything as spooky and unsettling as this picture. Ghost hunter has claimed that he spotted a ghoul in the picture and took an abandoned mental asylum. It does seem like it is someone in the photo. It is a shadowy and kind of what I call white-faced. You can't really see much details of the face other than the eyes and the mouth. He quoted, "He does this in all groups and takes around the Haunted Happenings events company that didn't took the picture again until the next day when it was posted on Facebook," unquote. Although the picture looks like it those of a girl with a shadow over her, he claimed that none of the other group members recognized who she was. The inside of the hospital is littered with broken beds, wheelchairs, and trolleys, with the top floor attic lined with cupboards that were used to punish apparently misbehaving children. The staircases also have a large mental anti-suicidal grills extending upwards from the banisters to prevent people throwing themselves down the flights of stairs. Philip also said that the team he works with has no idea the ghost of the girl could be, but that the site has been used as a sanatorium and mortuary from the 1800s. Philip, who has been ghost hunting at Newsam around 20 times, added, quote, "I have seen shadows and people have had strange feelings, but nothing like this," unquote. The place was built It was built in 1969, now classified as a Grade 2 listed structure. Put on market in 2007 by $1.5 million with the intention of turning the building into flats, but the plans received hostile response from the locals. News Park Hospital is considered one of Littlepill's most haunted buildings, as it has fallen in a state of disrepair since the closure in 1992. All right. You can find that also on thesun.co.uk. thesun.co.uk. That's what we have here. See, let's go into this other stack here. And this other stack looks like it's just plain old normal news or other things going on that's paranormal related here. Here's one about CERN. Employees reviews what CERN really is. We've been following CERN. There's a little video on it. Could open a doorway to the unseen dimension, and out of this door might come something. We might send something through it. Sergio Bartolucci, Director for Research and Scientific Computing at CERN. Is CERN just a particle accelerator? And it goes on to say some other things. Folks, I've read up on CERN. At first I thought it was just a test for space and black holes and all that stuff. But folks, you got to realize they're doing more stuff there. The Mandela effect, actually, may also be a part of that. We may have a segment on Mandela effect. I have mentioned it and talked about it before, but I've never gotten seriously into it. Let me know what you think, folks. If you want to know more about the Mandela effect, or if you want to hear more about CERN, Mandela's effect and CERN, here's something else. Up here on Disclosed TV, mermaid videos. I discuss mermaids, Bigfoot, El Chupacabra, Lizard Man, devils. I don't mean devils as in demons. I mean devils as in the Jersey Devil, the Florida Devil. We've heard of an Oregon-like devil. We've heard Sasquatch, Bigfoot, all of this stuff, Yetis. Talked about all of this stuff. But there is a mermaid video here on Disclosed TV. It's absolutely wonderful. And I'm sure they post a lot of this stuff off and on up here, Disclosed TV, Huffington Post, HuffPost Paranormal, and Strange News. See what else we got here. Alright, folks, this is a new one. Astronauts can bake their own bread on a spacecraft, I believe. Right here, astronauts can bake their own bread. A new type of crumb-free dough mixture could help to improve the selection of foods available in space. Wow, bread in space. I have my raisin bread, by the way, my toast. Did raisin bread. Anyways, the new creation is developed as a part of a renewed effort to provide astronauts with a greater selection of fresh foods. Regular bread is actually considered to be a hazard in space because it creates lots of crumbs, which can fly into someone's eye or end up stuck inside the walls where they can catch fire. The famous incident saw two astronauts smuggle corned beef sandwiches aboard the 1965 Gemini 3 mission, a move that caused such a fuss that bread ended up being banned outright. To get around the problem, Germany's Bacon Space has been working closely with food scientists and the German Aerospace Center to produce a unique crumb-free recipe. Very unique. Other foods are listed. Some other things are done here. I looked up this food in space here. Kind of unique. When I was a kid, we had freeze-dried ice cream almost, I remember. Giant prehistoric sloth unearthed in LA Metro. Recent excavation of a heart in the heart of Los Angeles is using evidence of a giant prehistoric beast. Fossils were found within sandy clay approximately 5 foot beneath Crenshaw Boulevard. This isn't the first time prehistoric fossils remains have been found during expedition work either. Back in April, construction of a subway near the LA Borough tar pits had been halted so that paleontologists could extract mammoth and camel bones. I looked into this a little bit too. Some of these stories I looked into a little bit further. Pretty interesting because a lot of bones, a lot of human bones, have been found during excavations, and we all know that this relates to ghosts and spirits and the supernatural and the paranormal, unearthing different things, doing different things with them. Can result in hauntings, poltergeist activities, and all of that stuff. This is not the first time I've heard of a construction site finding something. A sloth, however, that's kind of unique. Prehistoric sloths were huge. They basically were ground dwellers. Some got as big as bears or even bigger. I forgot that one name of the one that I found. Was absolutely fascinating. And that can be all found on Unexplained Mysteries. Let's go to our Huff Post. The Huffington Post.com, HuffPost Paranormal here. And as you all know, and I will quote, we've already been up to the Huffington Post earlier in this program with other news, but everybody must know that this is one of my favorite sites to get news on, by the way. So, up to the Huffington Post we go again to find that British athletes claim sex ghost is haunting their reality show. This is reported by the name of David Moye. British Paralympian Cadena Cox and retired rugby star Gareth Thomas are two of the celebrities competing on The Jump, a British show where famous people compete in various snow sports. A ski jump with the stars, if you will. Season's first episode aired Sunday. But the show is scaring up more attention for what's happening in celebs' hotel rooms. apparently a ghost is on set. It goes into it a little more here. Very interesting. The feeling was apparently so real that they asked to change their rooms. Interesting. You can find that on HuffPost. Tabloids jump on report aliens found. There's a few more stories on here. Some other things here. I'm just reading some of the stories here we got in our stack of stuff here. And so with that said, we have to take another break. It's going to be a real quick break. So let's take that break and we'll be right back. Alright folks, welcome back to the program. Welcome back if you're tuning in. We welcome you. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we'd like to even give you an even greater welcome, because you are someone who is tuning in for the first time, and we love new listeners, new viewers, and new fans. You can go up to Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, and see all of our programs up there. Don't forget to go to the Thrifty Witchery on Facebook. Don't forget to tune into my Facebook, Twitter, all of that good stuff. And you want to stay involved in what we're doing in this program. And of course, I always try to get to the latest news, the latest stuff that's happening, and I try to get to a little bit of things. I try to get to interesting things. I try to get to, relevant things for you folks. Everything is interesting here in the news. But we must go on to other things and on to what we have planned for all of you today. And that is something very special. It is a great interview tonight we're going to have with my good friend Eric Perry. He's a paranormal investigator. He's been my friend on Facebook. He also leads his own team. He also has other things in the works. It looks like I'm going to have to go on a break. So when we come back from this break, we are going to sit down with Eric here for a little while, and we're going to talk to him. So we'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back. And on the phone we have Eric with us, a very good friend of mine. He's been very busy with paranormal investigations, and we figured we would check in with each other. I met him a while back through Facebook and a few other friends. So, Eric, how you been?
I'm doing good, Tom.
What's been going on down or up your way, I should say?
Well, it seems, some of the investigations that are launched in New England, like Achievement Sun, have been a lot of residential cases. But it's been, we're very lucky enough to get on film an apparition blooming out of a mist. This was caught during an investigation about like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So you've been doing some day investigations, which I've told our audience, and you can probably agree with me. You don't always have to be at night in the dark, at midnight, 1, 2 in the morning to get stuff. I recently had a day one. So how is your team? If you can go a little into your team now, how is your team done? Is it any different than the normal of the field? And maybe get into real quick now some of the things that is a little different about your team, because I know your team is pretty unique amongst others.
Right, we have team members that are into cryptozoology, which is like the Sasquatch. We have team members that are different forms of psychics and mediums. So we have a lot of teams. We have ones that are physical mediums. We have ones that can tell you what's going on. We have mediums that pick up on emotions. Different types. And we have a bunch of tech heads, as I like to call them, who love to work with the tech. And then we have just investigators that are just phenomenal with their work because they've all gotten to get trained and everything, and they get the experience of some of the most paranormal stuff that we've ever come across. Some of the most amazing things that we've come across.
Yeah. Now, what's it like having a team? You just mentioned about 3, 4, 5 psychics. What's it like working on a team with a lot of psychics? I mean, do they feed off each other? Do they? Does anything interfere with each other?
No, when it comes to the psychics, we kind of, what we do is we don't tell them anything. We don't anything like that. And we don't always bring all the psychics to an investigation. If it calls on something that has to be physically touched by a psychic, then we bring that one along. If it's a psychic that needs to do a reading of the house, then we bring that psychic along on medium TV. It depends. And with the tech guys, they go everywhere. The mediums, we split them up. We try to rotate the team as much as possible. We have a 23 team members on the team with up to date regular.
Now, you said you don't tell them anything. How does that work? Do you? I mean, like on our team, when we have my friend come along with us sometimes, she is a psychic, and I try to tell her stuff about safety. I'm always on safety, and I'm always would like to tell her a little bit of history of stuff so she's ready in her mind for the investigation that we're coming to. I don't want her to just walk in with absolutely nothing. But
right.
I want her not to know the details. I want her not to know the victim's sex or age. I want her not to know what the people's names are. And sometimes I find it very hard to keep information that I think she should know as an investigator. However, she has our team is very unique because she can separate herself from the office and the field work. So she can know what's going on and then get there and just totally go in there blank, which I've made a almost 16-year field career out of knowing something about the case because I dealt with the person or I interviewed somebody and then go in there and say, well, are they telling the truth or not? And I have to go in there with a total blank mind. Is it hard for you and your psychics to do that, or do you have a different routine you do?
We don't give these psychics the address to the location until the day of the investigation. So they don't have it. We don't give it to them until about, I say, they have to be on site within an hour. We don't give it to them until that hour.
So that gives them enough time to drive there?
They don't get any of the information.
So, alright, I see what you mean. So people, for our audience right now, what happens is you'll call them up and you'll say, we have an investigation on this date. I will get back to you. And then they say, okay, then I'll leave that day clear. Or do you call them up an hour ahead and say, hey, you got an investigation right now. Come here now. This is the address.
We usually call them up and say, hey, we have an investigation this day, but I'll give you the address on the day of, and I need you there at this time.
Okay. Now,
and then when it comes to that time, an hour before that time, I'll call them and say, hey, I need you there. That gives them an hour that they can't, sit there. If they have to travel on the road, they have to travel.
Yeah. Now, how many total team members do you have?
We have 23.
23 team members. So they all get... So you basically could do 3-4 investigations a night if you had to.
Correct. And
wow.
What it is we have everything from, like I said, the mediums, the tech people, the investigators. We also have camera crews that follow us to do the live stuff. We also have, people that handle security and PD, stuff like that.
Well, what's it like being with a camera crew? Because as you know, I've been in the entertainment business. and I've done some events where a cameraman was present, and I've actually. I remember one time we were doing something and I actually bumped into a cameraman, and I don't think that cameraman liked it too much. I've also been on an
Yeah.
investigation where the guy was right behind me at all times, and I had to be conscious of that so I didn't mess up anything, which was for me very hard because I'm the type of person. I have free range of the place. I want to have it. I want to be able to move around. I want to be able to do stuff. And here, this person was right behind me. The lights. See, I don't mind the lights so much. A lot of people complain about the lights, but I'm a paranormal investigator. So you're going to have cameras, you're going to have flashlights in your face all the time. But this was a little brighter, and it was kind of unusual because I was talking into a light and a man in front of me. Now, I took it one step and I said, okay, if there's a man in front of me, then that means I will talk to him as a person. And so I got by that, but a few other people had a little hard time with the camera being close and having to, worry about different stuff. It was a challenge, but then again, it wasn't a challenge type deal. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with? And I know you have multiple ones, or is it that you set the things and then they go around what you're doing?
What we do is, besides having our command center, when we set up our command, we have 2 to 3 guys that walk around, including even myself, will hold the camera and film everybody. And they follow the person around. They count them down before they go into the room or something like that. So they'll hold their fingers up and go 1, 2, 3, you're live. And we've been doing, since we did our YouTube videos before, we've done Amazon Prime. We're on Amazon Prime, videos on demand. And now we're doing live videos on Facebook where we have 10,000 people following us on live investigations now.
And where can they find this? Where does this YouTube channel? Because I've seen some stuff. I think you guys do excellent work. I would love to get involved with what you're doing. Maybe bring your team down here to do some stuff. We discussed that of you actually coming into the studio here with us. How would our audience listening to this right now find all of your stuff without having to pay for Amazon Prime? Because I know Amazon Prime does have a price to it. Is there any way to get on the YouTube and the Facebook free, or are they all charging now? Or
if you go into my personal Facebook, Eric Perry's personal Facebook, my own personal Facebook page, you can actually go into my videos, and we have Haunted in New England episodes there to watch our live videos. If you want to watch all of our older stuff, you can go out to YouTube, look for Haunted in New England on YouTube, and you can find it there.
okay. Now, does your show come on any of the channels that people get? Now, I don't have cable anymore, but I know I have Netflix and Hulu. Do they come on any of those?
We're actually in talks with Netflix and Hulu on getting our videos put onto both of those. Right now, with it just being on Amazon, it's opened up a lot of doors for us with Amazon alone. And where YouTube is now going live, a lot of the things you're going to notice is live is the newest thing. Live, like live YouTube now. You also have live LinkedIn. You have live Twitter. You have it all now. And I look at it this way, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I've noticed now that TV is also doing the same way. TV is going live PD. Gordon Ramsay's show will be The F Word is live. The WWE SmackDown is all live. All these shows are doing live stuff, and we were the pioneers. Haunted was the pioneers to go live. When we found Facebook saying, hey, go live and see what happens. When Facebook reached out to us and said, hey, go for it, and we did it, was a shock and a pit because people are getting to watch what we're seeing at that time. And one of the episodes that sticks out in my mind was the Capital City tattoos, where we were sitting there and a shadow person showed up against the wall. And people, I've never seen so many people go crazy after seeing an actual shadow person caught on live video feed of that. And the same thing with the apparition pulling from a mist that was actually caught during a live investigation of a private home, and people were actually going nuts over that. So it was different things that caught different people's attention that caught my attention. And during all this live feed stuff, I think it's the new generation for the paranormal feeds. I still feel a lot of these paranormal feeds put their stuff up on YouTube and other things. Unless you're doing it live, people aren't going to sit there. The market for YouTube, that's why YouTube has changed. The market for YouTube has changed to live stuff. It's because more people want to see it live. They don't want to see it pre-recorded anymore.
Well, a lot of stuff with YouTube was, and also Facebook and these other Twitters and these other networks, I know at least for us, we did it, and then the next day we put it up online, so it was live. It was no editing. I have never edited anything. I don't even edit this show. Now, I might edit clips out, or I might edit weird stuff, or if callers want to swear or be mean or any of that stuff, I may edit that stuff, and sometimes I don't even do that because I believe the whole thing should be normal. So what I used to do is the next day after the investigation, or 2 days, or when we had the evidence, when we knew what we were doing, you know, and a lot of our audience don't realize it's going to take about 48 hours to go through evidence. It's going to take, you know, some time. So the minute we knew we were okay, it was right up there. Nothing edited. So if you saw me standing in the dark, or you saw one of our investigators jump, or if you're in a cemetery and a bird flies at you or something, it was right there in your face, ready to go. So in a way it was live, but I think what you're talking about is an actual there with you when you're doing it, the seconds and minutes and hours that you're doing it, so that nothing could be had. So if anything was to be, you know, faked or scripted or frauded, or any of these allegations that people are making that these shows do this, it would be right there and everybody would see it. I think it's the next generation. I personally don't really like going live. I do it, but the reason I don't like it is anything could happen. You could have something happen that's dumb, or somebody say something that's dumb, or do something that's dumb, and then everybody sees it. I always like to have...
The whole thing is, with our team, we're very cautious. When we go to a location, the team owners that need to know the history of the location, stuff like that, get to know that. And they know what they're talking about when they're coming in. I've seen some videos, live videos, that did not make any sense when it came to their videos. Some of the stuff they were saying didn't seem true. And when we did it, it made more sense, because when people were writing to us saying, you just made that woman cry live on TV because you found closure for her.
Yeah.
You know, you did this live on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
You're showing us what feelings really when you see a client. You don't see that from other teams.
No, well, if you do, see, a lot of things that I see with live today is I kind of think that people emphasize stuff that they don't need to. Like, if they're live in a room, they on purposely talk, or they on purposely start focusing on stuff that, you know, but I'm an investigator like you are. So to me, sitting in a room, it's totally dark. We don't have a flashlight in front of us. People don't realize that the room is not green colored because the night vision camera, you know what I mean? It's a camera, It's special equipment to make it so that you can see what's going on. To us, it's a dark room. The only light I have is that flashlight in my hand, the little red light on my recorder, and if I have a camera, the only thing that I know where I am, and many of times I've only gone by the screen of the camera, is the screen in the camera is the only thing that I have to tell me that something's in front of me or not. They don't realize that we're sitting in a dark room. It's like just shut off all your lights at home and just sit there in the room in the dark. And that's what it's like. I did a demonstration one time. We did an investigation at a place, and we followed it up by a demonstration when we came back to let people know we were there and what we found. And I had everybody sit in a room, and I purposely had somebody move a chair. You will be surprised on how many people stood up and looked around. And I told them at this demonstration, this is exactly what it's like there. It's not green. It's not seeing. More than once I had to touch my own head with my hands to touch myself, or start with my foot forward so I knew what was in front of me. Because I am the type to just walk in the dark with no flashlight, nothing. I will just use my own, ability to have night sight, as a human being, because I want to know what it's like there. And that's this new thing I say about daylight. I did a show on it way back when I was with the other networks, that before I came over here and we did this show, that it's much different than what you think it is. The reality of doing the paranormal investigation and what goes into it and everything else is not just somebody going to somebody's house, shaking their hand, walking in there with cameras and recorders, shaking their hand when they leave. What the audience sees, and this is what I also think live is like. It's like professional wrestling. You mentioned WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. I remember ECW. I remember World Championship Wrestling. They would have live shows. They brought a whole crew in just for that alone. The whole back of the arena, just half of the arena was their trucks and their stuff. If a wrestler messed up, if he got injured, if a ref passed a blade, if a wrestler set a move, didn't do something right, you saw it right then and there. Is that the same way it is today with live, where you said some people just are not doing it right? Is it something that people are going to have to get used to, or is it that people are just not doing it right because they just don't want to put good material out there?
I think it has a lot to do with that. I think it has a lot to do with where they're investigating and whether they should be investigating. And like when we did our episodes for Amazon, our 6 episodes for Amazon, those are episodes we did during the day, and that was the Haunted Victorian Mansion in Gardner, Mass. And we did that during the day. Now, instead of a nighttime investigation, if we wanted, we changed it up for the daytime. And it's one of our most watched episodes because we actually caught stuff during the day. Now, when it comes to some of the other stuff, the night stuff, a lot of what you see for when people are doing live investigations at night, they're not using enough lighting to show you. And that's the whole issue. Cell phones you could get lights for to film. You could get, you can hold a flashlight to give it enough light. They make powerful flashlights now.
Well, see, let me interrupt you. A lot of it for me is I don't want to see the lighting. I want to know that it's actual. For me, when I watch this stuff, and I know a friend of mine and a few other people that watch stuff of mine, they like it because it's reality. If it's dark, it's dark. If it's there, it's there. But what I think you're trying to get at is that people have to be prepared for whatever they're doing and do it right and do it professionally.
Right. And that's the whole thing behind it, because when we get it, when we do it, we make sure we have enough lighting. And the reason we have enough lighting is we want people to be able to see, like with the tattoo parlor. We had lighting on, but it was very low light that you could actually see. And that's how they caught the shadow person on the wall. Now, when we use lighting like John's Woolen Mill, we did that live, and the response that we got was from people who were like, "Did you just see that across the wall? Did you hear that? Did you all this stuff?" And people absolutely loved it because we were using real light so that people could see. And it was so dark in there that I was actually, what people were saying was, I stood inside a mill by myself with no one else around and just that camera. But my other team was in one of the three other buildings that we had that night.
Yeah.
So it made people think, these guys know what they're doing. They know exactly, they're setting, they're pushing the boundaries of the paranormal a little bit and teaching people what they need to be taught. Because that was one of the things that everyone likes about us is we're not only out there filming our shows and showing you what we do, and we like to have the homeowner, when they're there, they can sit on their phone and watch it on Facebook as we're investigating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we want to help educate. And we've got tons of emails from people saying, "You guys did a phenomenal job teaching us something we weren't going to try." Now, we make sure that when we're using live on Facebook and we're using our cell phones, we make sure we're far away enough from the equipment to know that it won't set it off, like a K2 or something of that nature. So we're very cautious about how we do that. Like, we know a cell phone will set off a K2, a ghost meter, REM pod. It'll set things off.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that it's as simple as you getting a thing from Facebook, say somebody posted something, and it'll set off the K2 meter. These things are more sensitive now than they were when I got into business. I got into this field, and we had equipment, we had new stuff, but the newer stuff is coming out. I was looking at something the other day, a GoPro cam, that I actually saw it working in the store, and I went out. I had some paranormal equipment with me because I wanted to get a new EMF meter, and I knew we were going to the store where we get those, the hardware store. The electronics department has the kind we have, and so I just got one, and I said, let's see what happens. And the whole meter the whole time was going up into the orange in the row with that equipment. So I knew that at that time that GoPro camera is going to have some problems with setting off stuff. Now, a lot of times cell phones do it. Something as simple as a laptop on the site could do it, and I don't think a lot of people or they realize it and they don't care. See, I see a lot of that stuff too. They're so engrossed in getting their production or show made, or they're so engrossed in doing it to get it up there, that they don't really focus on the material being good. Or if they are focusing on it being good, they're not focusing on the reality of, I am here, I should make sure nothing happens, that it's real and it's okay. It's not something that's going to set something off. And I'm not bad-mouthing these groups for doing it. I just think that if they don't know how to do it, then they should, do a little research on stuff, or get to know somebody, or, like I have. I've gone out with, other groups, and I've studied what they did, and I paid attention, I've asked questions, not to be nosy, to take away from what they have, or to, as they say it, steal the ideas, but to make sure I was doing it right. So if I was to do something like that, I would be able to do it right. Now, when you do these live things, are there on certain times? Is there a way to find your schedule so that maybe if somebody wants to follow you, they can?
What we do is we post it like the day before, or at least a week before we go and do the investigation, because we have to get the clearance from the homeowner first before we actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing behind that, is if we don't get the homeowner's permission, then we don't film it live. We'll just film it with our regular cameras. And we'll keep it for our own archives. And I was going through the archives of Haunted New England and of my old team set from the New Hampshire Paranormal Society. I would say I have over at least 2,000 cases that have not seen the light of day.
Oh yeah, I agree. In 16 years I've done numerous cases, and I think maybe I've gotten full permission to throw everything around. Probably maybe a handful, which I don't think the public understands either. They don't understand that you and I could do 5 cases in a week, and only one of those cases is the one that does the show. And this happens a lot with other shows, like the big name shows, that they may do a few 4, 5, 6 cases or whatever, and only 1 or 2 makes it for the television scene. And I don't think, and this might be my personal opinion, that the audience and fans realize that what we're showing them is maybe not so much as it is live with you, but with the stuff I do and other people do, and that sometimes we've put a lot of work into this. I mean, I have sat for an entire 3 days and made sure that evidence was okay, re-gone over evidence. Now, with that said, do you have a certain amount of time to give evidence when it's live, or do you have somebody go off like some of the mainstream shows that we see on the large networks? They have people that review that recorder right then and there. Do you have that, or do you?
We do real-time EVPs as we're doing it. The live set, so we do like 3 questions and we review it right there to see if we actually have anything going on in the room. We just did a cemetery, myself and one of my friends here in New England, and as we did the cemetery, we weren't getting any, at the time, anybody talking to him, because he's been there numerous times and no one was talking to him this time around. I asked some questions, and we ended up with a couple, with just me asking questions. We ended up with some females answering questions, and it was just him and I in the cemetery.
Okay. Now, when you do cemetery
Go ahead.
Now, when you do the cemetery investigations, are they you roaming around at night or day, or is that we just pick one, or do you plan it, or?
We do it at dusk.
At dusk.
Because we can't be in the cemetery at night due to the fact that some of the cemeteries are, if you're in the cemetery at night, it's actually considered trespassing.
Well, a lot of times here we ran into that problem where they don't want us at night, and I've also run into the problems where cemeteries, and I think our listeners and the viewers that are viewing our little cam here that we have, our ditto cam as they call it, I guess, in this industry. But what I want to tell people is you just can't go into a cemetery. I mean, they have schedules. I try to call or see what's going on in the cemetery first, because they may have a funeral, they may have families in there, and I've run into that a lot of parts in my area where they don't want a paranormal group because one came before us, or they've had a history of it in the past of them disturbing others. which I think is very wrong. I think that if somebody's in a cemetery to see a loved one, they should be left alone. I also know that, I don't know if it's your state, but New York does have a privacy law, if somebody really wanted to pressure it, that if you film the names on the tombstones, it's just like filming a picture of somebody without their permission. I did find that out doing research in the law area of doing paranormal investigations. But I don't think what a lot of people know about cemeteries is that it's very quiet. It's very I have never really gotten 100% evidence from a cemetery. I think I probably have gotten less than a handful of evidence from cemeteries. I have more gotten a evidence, I guess a drawer full of evidence from doing restaurants and residences and other places of business that way than I have from the cemeteries. But the cemetery is always nice to visit. I have a good friend that's always told me that no one's ever died in a cemetery. So I think the science behind it, I don't know if the spirit would stay in the cemetery, because the spirit wasn't, whatever happened to him didn't happen then. However, I have heard stories of people finding EVPs and photos of spirits, and they believe that they're trying to find the body that they belong to. I know in some cultures and some religions that the body is to be buried right away, and the spirit departs right away from that. But I think another thing people don't realize about cemeteries is they're not spooky. I think cemeteries have a bad rep for being spooky and weird and all this stuff because of Hollywood and movies and all that stuff.
Right, with cemeteries, you gotta, New England's notorious for haunted cemeteries, and not every cemetery in New England is haunted. And I can say this: I was a grave digger for a cemetery in Lynn, Mass, when I was a teenager. I saw things that would make your skin crawl. I saw things, spirits that would just leave you flabbergasted. This cemetery that's in Lynn, Pine Grove Cemetery, has the second largest wall in the world next to the Great Wall. And it's absolutely one of the most breathtaking cemeteries that you'll ever go into.
And where is this located?
Haunted as hell.
Where is this located?
It's located in Lynn, Massachusetts. It's right on the North Shore, and it's one of the most haunted places in Lynn that you could go next to the Stone Cottage.
Now, is this because spirits are returning to their bodies, or is it because a lot of people may not realize that different cultures believe that demons and other jinn and other things reside in cemeteries as well, ghouls. I have a show coming up talking about that stuff.
The ground is not as they say, church grounds like cemeteries are supposed to be hallowed grounds. I personally don't believe the cemetery is hallowed ground.
Well, see, I believe that it depends on who's there and what they've done, and we have a very beautiful Catholic cemetery here, and I believe every year there is a member of the church, priest or deacon or whatever title that person will have. They will go through, do an exorcism and blessing of the place. We have gotten absolutely nothing there. But I do know of 2 other cemeteries in my area where we have gotten stuff. It might not be readily available, but there is stuff throughout the years I've gotten. Now, with these massively haunted graveyards, are you guaranteed to get something? Or is just thing about this guarantee that people talk about on tours and stuff? Um, I mean, every time you go there, do you get something? Because I'm the type of person that would love to come and visit there. Would love to come and maybe go on an investigation with you sometime. We've talked about that numerous times, by the way, folks. I and Eric are always talking about trying to get each other to get on something. For me, it's money and travel.
Yeah,
For him, it's family.
Same here, same here.
But I don't see. I'm the type of person that if I'm going to go to something, I'm going to go for the beauty of it. I'm going to go for the experience. I'm going to go for the trip. I'm going to go for what sights and experiences I get from the trip alone. A lot of traveling in this field, and sometimes the trip is better than what you get to. But I'm also getting to the point where I would love to have not only the trip and the beauty and the visiting the state and the people, but I'd also like to see a haunting when I'm there too. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
I really jump for that haunted now, but I still have the feelings that it's science. I still have the feelings that we're there to help someone. But once in a while, I do like what I call a good ghost chase. I don't call it hunting ghost anymore. I call it a good ghost chase, where you go to find out if you can get evidence. You go to see something. You go for the thrill of the apparition, the experience, being touched or whatever. I think maybe that would be a nice place where maybe we can plan down in the future. And maybe I could do a live broadcast there. You could as well for your program. We'll have to talk about that down the road. Now, if anybody needs your services, we're kind of wrapping up because both of our schedules here. But if anybody needs your services, can you let them know an email or a way to contact you?
Yeah, they could email us at hauntedinNewEngland@gmail.com, or they can find us on Facebook, message us on Facebook at Haunted in New England.
So it's Haunted in New England. It's Haunted in New England at gmail.com.
Yep.
And then it's Haunted in New England on your Facebook as well, which is a beautiful Facebook page.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Haunted in New England. Haunted in New England live investigations on Facebook. We put the live investigations so people know that they can, we've had numerous people ask us, why did you put that there? Because our stuff is live. And I think the way the people are taking us in, there's only been two teams that I know that have been called in ever been called in by the U.S. government to investigate their haunting. And I can say this much: Haunted New England is one of the privileged teams to go onto a live military facility and actually investigate a paranormal activity.
Well, if you know of two, I know of two. One of them would be me, as you know. One of them would be our other good friend there. I don't like mentioning other people's names on here if I don't have permission to mention them. But you know the person I'm talking about, and you did it, and you know the other team. Now that you bring that up, is that something different? Because I know doing investigations for a resident or a museum or a place of business is a lot different than doing it from a municipality or government type thing. I come times.
It's definitely different when you get that phone call from the U.S. government saying, "Hey, this is such and such. I have a bunch of servicemen that are very scared to go into this building at night. When it comes dark, they run out of the building." It makes it to the point where you're thinking to yourself, okay, we're there to help. We're not there to play around, we're there to help.
Yeah, you're there to do something for them, And I sometimes believe that there are some cases that are more important than others, and having servicemen, or in our case, a emergency squad, being afraid to do something when normally their job depends on their loyalty and bravery. Now, did you find anything on these cases, like actual uh, good stuff, or is it kind of like in my case where we found a little bit of stuff and we made sure that it's not going to be harmful, and that was that kind of deal?
Well, remember when we did this case, there's certain things I can't talk about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, see, I wanna let our audience know that if we're skipping stuff, it's because we can't talk about it, and I want to let our audiences know. And as I've said before, that nothing has to be exposed or put on here. And our clients are the utmost safety and security that we can. So if people are wondering about nitty gritty stuff, they're not going to get it from you or me unless we have permission to talk about it. So above and beyond that, to nail it down a little bit for you so you don't have to expose anything, did you get anything good? Did you get anything unusual that somebody might want to hear about?
We did get something good. One of the things that we can talk about, we were in the locker room, the men's locker room, and they have a door that shut it into the restroom area. There's 12 stalls in there.
Okay.
Urinals and all that. And the door was shut. All of a sudden, the motion sensor light that was in there turned on by itself, and you could see feet underneath the door when there was no one in there.
So something or something had feet. Now, when you say feet, do you mean, because this is the newest thing I'm going to ask your opinion about this, but when you say feet, do you mean like an actual human being, an apparition?
Yeah, you could actually see it was a black shadows of feet. You could actually see under the door, walking back and forth, and it sounded like military boots.
That's pretty amazing. Now, here's another thing I wanted your opinion on. Recently, within the last 5 cases, we've been doing cases where people have actually seen flesh and blood people, and then the person will walk into a wall. Or like the one, a flesh and blood person, and the person then walked down the stairs and then they weren't there anymore. Have you recently been seeing this? Because I think this is something not new, but I think it's happening more, where it's not the old ghost thing, it's not the old apparition, it's the actual physical manifestation of what I call a biological spirit. I have named it a biological spirit because, in my eyes, people are seeing a flesh and blood human being and then it's not there anymore or walks through a wall. What's your opinion on this?
Well, it's like the last case we did, that we just did here in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Where we had an apparition forming out of a mist. You could actually see on camera, because we went by with the camera, you could actually see the eyes, you could see the hairline, cheek line, the shoulder, the whole thing, the nose line, when it was forming. And it made us question, like, what was that, you know? And we look back and we've come across other apparitions that have made us sick or been violent in some way. I've had cases where, there was one case I did, it was in Massachusetts, where I was talking to a client and my cameraman's filming at the time, and he witnessed a claw, scratch mark come down my neck at the same time as he was filming.
Now, what was that like? What did you feel it? Did you?
I didn't feel it at the time.
You didn't feel it.
He was filming it as it happened.
I've had 3 times where something.
I was at Penhurst Asylum in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I was tossed 25 feet across a room by something I could not see.
Yeah, I've had 3 times something been near me and I didn't feel it. Now, what was Penhurst like? I gotta know what that place was like.
If you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it.
Okay.
That's how I put it to people. It is the dead playground.
Now, is it really as
Dead.
evil as they say it is? Or because I've heard people tell me it's absolutely evil. I've heard people say, well, spirits are there. You know, it's a place to be left alone. Then I've heard people say it's not as bad as they say it is. They've, amped up the evilness of it.
It is very bad.
Very bad.
Still, when it turns on the asylums into Penhurst ranks right up at the top.
Okay. Because I would like to go there someday. Unfortunately, I was told they're no longer allowing. They're trying to get away from people wandering around the place because they've destroyed it, which I think is pretty sick. And I'm going to go on record, as I always have, if you're a team that wants to go wandering around and doing stuff and destroying stuff and mishandling stuff and vandalize them, it's...
Right. What happened with Penhurst now is they're turning it into more of an amusement park thing. The new owner tore down some of the buildings. He's putting a giant Jesus Christ statue in the middle of a field where the buildings used to be. He's turning it into a haunted attraction for Halloween where people dress up in costumes and stuff like that.
Now, me and you both know that's probably going to be a mistake because something's going to be real in there, and...
Oh, with the nurses that haunt the building, with the kids and the adults that haunt the building, I can guarantee if they go into the Devon building, that's going to be the worst building they're going to ever play around in. I myself and a security guard witnessed from a good 50 feet where we were standing, shadow apparitions coming down a hallway watching a night vision camera that we were watching.
Yeah. Now I've heard stuff there. I've wanted to go there. See, my problem is travel and money and expenses, and some of these places I just don't think should be charging what they're charging. Recently we were looking into some place to go, and they just wanted a lot of money to go there, which I don't agree with. All right, what I'm going to do right now, folks, is we're coming up on one of our breaks. I always complain about these mandatory breaks. I just do. But I got to take them because I'm told to do it. And so what we're going to do is take a little break, and when we come back, we'll finish up with Eric. And we're back. So we're back with Eric. And Eric, what do you want to tell these people heading off? I know you got busy stuff coming up. This afternoon you took some time to be with us. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that you do what you do. So again, it's hauntedinNewEngland@gmail.com. And then it's the same thing, Haunted in New England, on your Facebook. And you do businesses.
Yep.
You do private places. You have a very large team. Is there anything else finally you want to add, or anything to have people get to you a little better, or?
Yeah, they can find me right on my Facebook at Eric Thomas Bill Perry, right on Facebook. And I had a lady reach out to me from Louisiana last night.
Okay.
That had a haunting, and she's like, I would really like you to come out and check that place out down here because it's family owned. And I'm like, okay, I got to see what I got to do. But if you need help and you need some assistance in paranormal, and you need some help, don't hesitate to reach out to like Haunted in New England or to anybody else that you find reputable as a team. Do your research when it comes to these teams. Make sure that before you bring a team into your home, that you know what you're getting into. So you can find out if they have any black marks against them, or that they're just not what they say they are before you bring them into your home.
Yeah, I've said many a times, and you've agreed with me this, And this has been an argument for, a good 5 years recently, since the argument started. And I think it is one of the groups that me and you are in that it started. I don't even think the group is around anymore because of the arguments that they had. But anyways, I've always said that there should be a licensing or certification in this field, but I just don't know how to do it. I just don't know. Within the last 2 years alone, the spike of groups and the spikes of people out there, I want to encourage our listeners and our viewers to be safe when you get a paranormal team. You can always contact me. You can always contact now Eric. He gave his information. And if we cannot do it for you, I'm sure Eric and I and the other people that we network with here on this show, we have a database of people that can help you. So don't fear that there's no one to help you because someone's far away, because there is somebody to help you if you need it. Now, Eric, I want to thank you for being on the program and taking, again, some time to see us. We're going to plan for an even better time together in the future. Hopefully we can get some investigations and stuff together. But I want to thank you for coming on the program. I do appreciate it. It was a little bit of short notice. I do apologize for that, by the way. But it was a pleasure having you today.
It was a pleasure being on. I wish everybody a great night. And have, a blessed weekend. And stay safe out there.
Yeah. All right, and I will catch you down the road. And folks, don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook and our YouTube. And as always, I got to take another break. So we will be right back right after this break. And we are back. We had a wonderful, wonderful interview with Eric Perry, and just a wonderful time tonight. Folks, check us out up on Spreaker.com. Check us out on our Facebook. Check us out on our Twitter. Folks, I will see you next week. We got a busy week ahead of us. And next week, I'll probably be talking about some investigations that'll be going on in this week. So, I'll see you next week. You all have a wonderful week.